Good evening, everyone. Welcome to meeting of New Jersey Electric Vehicle Association. Today is Thursday, October 26th, and we didn't have virtual meeting for quite a bit, so we are going to start right now. And here's our agenda. After warm up, which has happened, I'm going to give some share report. Then we will be having Doug Stansfield talking about the history of Electric Vehicle Association in New Jersey. And after that, I will talk about membership drive campaign and some updates from the National Electric Vehicle Association. Then will be my presentation. I'll be talking about my experience of having time of use utility service. We'll talk about our activity planner, and then we will wrap up. So what has been happening lately? And since we didn't have any wrap up after National Drive Electric Week, I want to report that we had 9 events, but 2 of them were postponed due to weather. Among the 7 completed events are first responder training in Hillsborough. We had National Drive Electric Week in Princeton, in West Windsor, in South Jersey, in Newton, North Jersey, organized by various institutions, not just us, it was also by Sierra Club, but by Department of Environmental Protection, green teams, environmental commissions, and etc. So yeah, and we have actually with us today Bob Lerner, and Bob Lerner is coming from Westfield Green Team, and he just wanted to say a couple words about the upcoming event, which will be next Saturday, right? Robert, what would you like to say?
Just a few things. Number one, obviously, I'd love for anybody to come. We are trying to get more people always, and some more cars. So if you're an EV owner and would like to come, we have about 17 or 18 EV cars so far. If you'd like to bring yours, we've got 2 slots, 12 to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We think we're going to have a really good turnout. There's a lot of other things going around green energy wise at the event. So I'd encourage you to bring your car. We've got a bunch of Teslas already, but if you've got something else, we'd love it if you came. Even if you got a Tesla, come on by. I know that last year the response was great. Lots of people were coming to talk to owners about their cars, hear the experience of owning an EV, and then there were specific questions about specific cars as well. So again, if you can bring your car, just let me know, or sign up on the NJEVA site as a participant. We'd love to have you, and I think it's going to be really a great and fun event.
Good. Thank you, Robert. Now, next update. So we have lots of collaborators. What is interesting that RideWise, our key partner, was Leanne McGowan. Now she has changed her role. Now she's in Sustainable Jersey. So now we have 2 liaisons in Sustainable Jersey. Leanne will join Tracy Woods. So that's the update. Divest&J, the update is that they have moved quite a lot regarding the divestment initiatives in New Jersey, and Bob Smith, Senator, he's taking it to the committee, and there is something that we can expect. Essentially, the action will be to prevent New Jersey pension funds to have a stake in any oil company. So that's very encouraging. Also, Kia is leveraging Plugstar program on East Coast, and they are going to pay to train dealers to be more EV friendly. and PlugStar is the program to go, as we all know. It's a plugstar.com. It's managed by Plug-in America. News: Biden, as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, he allocated $2.8 billion to incentivize battery manufacturing in United States. So this will be for both for the electric vehicles as well as for energy storage. So this is very encouraging. I have also news that New Jersey Board of Public Utilities is preparing rules for New Jersey energy storage incentive programs. You can click this link, and yes, which reminds me that I need to have it shared. I'll do it shortly. So, and just to see the schedule, the first meeting was already last Friday. It was to provide an overview of the straw proposal, to provide a summary of energy storage in New Jersey to date, and discuss use cases, including bulk storage and distributed storage. The next meeting is coming up next Friday. It will explore the portions of the New Jersey SIP focusing on grid supply storage with a focus on economic drivers for investment and operation of energy storage systems, including the various components of the value stack and how those components can be monetized and accessed. So essentially, if you have a Powerwall, you will be included in the program, that you will have incentive to participate in that. Meeting number 3 will be on November 14th. That happens to be Monday, and all of these meetings happen during morning hours because it's a government, right? So during the last meeting, they will explore how to best implement the New Jersey SIP at the distribution level, including how New Jersey's EDCs should, energy distribution companies should establish distribution price signals, and how to maximize the benefits of energy storage to facilitate investment in distributed energy resources. So I think this is very exciting. It will be a very good complementary to renewable energy / electric vehicles, as we want to eliminate the fossil energy. We need to have energy storage. As we know, the renewable energy is not stable. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have less. Sun is only during the day. That's one of the sure things. And as you may know, New Jersey is very aggressive in getting ready for the offshore storage, offshore wind. So, but that's a big actually program. So now, yes, you have a question. Let me go back.
Yeah, just so this is includes residential storage, and does it require this to be done together with a residential, solar array, or independent of any, solar power generating?
Right. So this is very good question, and I think the best answer to this is to just go there, because
Yeah.
I don't know all those details.
Yeah. Okay.
I suspect that it's unrelated to having solar on the roof, because energy storage is just energy storage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it will be great.
Because as you may know, the federal program, which I think is still being, the details are coming out, but the Inflation Reduction Act includes as a part of it, I think it's a 30% a rebate off the cost of any solar installation, which includes storage.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So that's also going to be a big driver here. It means people in New Jersey could get really significant cost savings.
Yeah. So, and we don't have really motivation to have energy storage, because unless you fear about resilience, what I'm talking about is the net metering. Net metering is essentially grid energy storage. When solar generators produce more energy during the day, it's consumed by whoever in a neighborhood. It's a grid tie system, right? So and the utility is banking the excess, and it's being used at a later point. So now the energy storage will make more sense because there will be a price tag on the energy, depending on when you take it in and when you put it out. So, any more questions?
Has anybody received the new meters from PSE&G yet? We
I
had
have
ours
advanced
installed
meter.
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So this is a meter which is pretty much giving them real-time information.
Right, right. I have actually a snapshot. I'll talk about that.
Oh, cool. Does your bill change? Does they
No,
give you more information
no.
about it on your
Well,
bill?
I don't want to spoil
Okay.
the story.
No problem.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Don't worry.
Good, good, good.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Now, hey, Doug, it's
Yes.
yours.
Hey, guys. Well, I'm pretty far removed from New Jersey these days, but congratulations on setting this new one up and good luck with it. And I just, I got Stan asked me to come by and just say hello and give you a rundown of the history of where the NJEVA started. And well, it's a long story, but I, back in 2008, I had 8 kids and a 15-passenger Ford van, which my wife used as a daily driver. And she decided one day to go from my house in Wantage, New Jersey, down to Newton and back, and bought milk and eggs. And the price of gas was about, I don't know, $3.80 or $4 or something. And I just did a quick thing in my head going, gosh, the car only gets like about 12 miles per gallon. And she just did a round trip. And they're like, crap, she just spent more on fuel than she did on electric. I mean, she spent more on fuel than she did on the food she bought. So I quickly decided, I said, we got to be figuring out, because the gas price kept going up. I said, I got to figure out another way to get around. So how am I going to get around in 2008 when you couldn't go to your local store and get anything? So basically, I just ended up deciding to look around for an alternative fuel source that I could use to go back and forth from the store to here to my house. It's simple, back and forth. How do I get there? Well, I could get a horse. I don't want a horse. Okay, I could get a bicycle. It's too far and I'm too fat. I don't want to do that. What else can I do? So I did a lot of preliminary assessments, and then they decided that, you know what, electric is everywhere. And I said, why don't we just get it? You can fill up your car in the middle of your garage while you're sleeping. Why is that so bad? Why don't we just do that? So I took a donor car, I converted it to electric, and then I said, you know what? This is simple. I can drive anywhere I want within a range of my house. No problem. Range sucked back then because I had lead acid batteries in it, but we won't talk about that. So I couldn't go, I could go to the local stores and back, go to my kid's baseball game and back, do all that stuff. But then I decided, you know, other people got to see this, because so many people were asking me about the car because I put electric vehicle on the side of it, and everybody's like asking me about it. I said, if everybody's this curious besides me, because I never really had a big vision to say, let me go out and promote it to the world. I didn't really care that much. I just wanted to not buy gas. So I said, okay. So I didn't want to buy gas. So I have this electric car. And I said, you know what? I looked online, and there's an organization called the Electric Auto Association. I said, oh, well, I should be part of this because I already have one. So I called them up and I said, is there any group in New Jersey that I could join so I could bring my car to it? No, there wasn't any. So I said, well, what if I started it? If I start the group in New Jersey, would it make a big difference? Oh, we'd love you to do that. Why don't you start a group in New Jersey? I said, okay. So I started a group in New Jersey. We met at the Morristown Library. I think this was late 2008, maybe early 2009. And like 4 or 5 guys showed up. Ron Freund, who was the president of the EAA chapter in California, he was in charge of everything. He said he would send out an email to all of his members that were in New Jersey. So at the time, they got an invite to come to this meeting. And I think like 4 guys or 5 guys showed up. It was like nothing. So you're sitting there thinking back to 2008, you couldn't even see or buy a Tesla in New Jersey at the time. It was like a ghost town. Nothing was around. Nobody was even interested. I got Phil Galati. He had converted his pickup truck. I got Eric Kobach. I think he had a converted pickup truck at the time. And who else showed up? anyway, a couple other guys showed up, and we decided at that meeting, because I instigated the whole thing, they elected me the president. I said, okay, fine. We had to set up the rules of the organization, which I'm sure you're familiar with if you're part of the EAA, or it's the EVA now. So the EVA now has they give you a structure on how you're supposed to set it up. They give you all the keys to the castle, and you say, okay, let me run with this. Well, I sent out basically press releases every week to every newspaper in the tri-state area. This was when they actually had newspapers. I don't know how many newspapers are left, but anyway, I sent it to everybody, and I got calls up from, the Star Ledger would call and they say, hey, can we come to your meeting, and blah 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 blah. They did some articles. The New Jersey Herald, I think, came to one. They put it out there, and all of a sudden it snowballed. Like more and more people were interested in electric cars. So, next meeting had 10 people, the next meeting had 20 people. One time we had 30, 40, 50 people when the Cablevision people showed up to do a video feed of the whole thing. So it got traction, and then it started. And then, of course, I decided back then, I partnered with Phil Galati, and we started Transatlantic Electric Conversion. So we were doing car conversions for other people. So we were just building cars and doing all that kind of stuff, trying to get the message out there. And I remember saying at one meeting, I said, the cable people were there, the Cablevision people there. They said, well, what are you going to do with this? And I said, we're going to build electric cars until the car companies get the idea and figure out they can build it like they should, because they're the car companies. I shouldn't be retrofitting a Corolla. They should be building it from scratch, because that's when you do all the engineering to fit the batteries in and put it underneath the car, rather than me trying to stick it in the front or back of the car. So I was re-engineering stuff that they could engineer in the beginning. So it made a lot more sense. But needless to say, it got the groups kept getting bigger. I got some other cars. There were some cars I could get from other people. The Mini Cooper started showing up. The Teslas started showing up. Once you start having cars there, and you're having it at a public building, and you're getting some press, the group starts to gel and grow. So I mean, it was a great time in history. I mean, that's all it is at the moment. You guys know where you're at now. Now you're talking about grid storage. Shit, man, we didn't have no grid storage. There was nothing. There was nothing like that. I mean, I put solar on my roof, I think in 2017, I think, 2016. So I mean, solar was around, but the SRECs were a lot higher. I mean, I still get SRECs off my house in New Jersey. So if you guys aren't into the solar world and you have an electric car, you should definitely make that leap, because it's super easy. If you're charging your car during the daytime, you're basically driving on sunshine. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, I know Stan is on the Aptera ambassador program like I am now, but that car is totally solar. So eventually you're going to get solar cars, and you won't even need the solar on the roof. If you live in an apartment, it's perfect, because that was always the complaint about the apartment owners. Where do I plug in my car? Well, I don't know at the moment. I can't help you much, because you're stuck in an apartment. But talk to Sal Canelli. He's got wires coming out of his second floor apartment over the street sign down into his Tesla. So I guess if there's a will, there's a way. You could do it. And then I guess Jersey City doesn't complain much about what Sal's doing. So anyhow, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions or anything? Because I feel so far removed from what you guys are doing now. It's not funny. I'm just not involved with the day-to-day of what you guys are putting together. But I'm sure I left it in capable hands. I gave it to Michael Thwaite. I said, you run with it. I can't do it anymore. And I passed the baton. And that's what I think all you guys got to do. We just got to keep the message out there. Electric cars are still, I think, less than 1% of the vehicle sales. So we're still not even close to where we need to be. I mean, granted, we still have the same issues we had back in 2008. We got a high gas price, and nobody's really buying electrics as much as they should. We're way ahead of where we were then, but I still don't think we're at the level of, like even Elon Musk said the other day, he's like, we can't get off fossil fuels yet. We're just not ready. And I agree with that. We're not ready. We got to get more people into the electric world before we can even think about moving on. If I'm out here in South Dakota, you should see how many acres and acres and acres and acres of land is just plowed by gas-powered tractors. So until we get electric-powered tractors, your food supply is still coming from the fossil fuel machine. So you got to think about that, because that's really the future. You got to be able to produce food without burning fossil fuels, and that ain't happening out here. Trust me, I drive through it every day to get to work. I work in a cornfield. My factory that builds parts for other things is a metal shop in the middle of a cornfield. So I never thought your total worldview changes when you move to another state. It's just a different phenomenon. It's very, very bizarre. All
Well,
the places are far away.
Doug, thank you so much. It is fantastic to know that the history of Electric Vehicle Association in New Jersey, it dates much more than Central Jersey Electric Auto Association. We actually converted the New Jersey Electric Auto into Central Jersey because back then the president was Raging Fellows, and the goal was to have more local reach, to have 3 chapters.
Good.
And
It makes sense. You can have more meetings that way, and they're local. It's closer. Do it because it's much better.
yeah, and we have North Jersey Electric Vehicle Club, and we have South Jersey Electric Vehicle Club, and I think that that can happen easily. We don't have to have a separate chapter for that. I think having 3 chapters is not just exactly what is needed. We just need to have more outreach, local outreach. So I totally agree with you. And regarding to your spearheading chapter in New Jersey, now you're in South Dakota. What stops you from opening chapter over there? As you say, it's a EV desert.
It's so far. I mean, there's pickup trucks everywhere, and there's tons of them, and I haven't seen one Ford electric pickup here yet. But I moved out here, and I really have to start thinking about that because at the moment I'm without an electric car because my Ford plug-in C-Max battery is screwing up. My wife got cancer, so I've been dealing with her, and I really don't have the wherewithal to start something new when I'm in the middle of me taking my wife to doctor's appointments and stuff, and I'm only down to 1 car. So I got to try and I took the battery out of the car, so I got it dissected, and I think I got a problem with one of the banks inside. I got 4 banks of 80 volts. So I got 320 volts in the car. I got to just get down and decipher it, pull out those cells and find the bad cell, replace the bad cell, put it back in the car. But of course, that takes time and effort. And I just got back from Texas going to my daughter's wedding. So it's like, I just don't have enough time to really truly dedicate to it. I mean, I feel bad almost because I signed up for the Aptera program, and I've sent out like 2 or 3 press releases, and that's it. And I haven't got any traction at all. So it's just like, it's not the same animal as it used to be. Sending out press releases to dog and pony old newspapers doesn't get you the same traction as it used to. I mean, I got a lot of traction back then just from sending out press releases. It was incredible.
Yeah, I think in South Dakota, what would draw attention would be Rivian or Ford F-150 Lightning, even though the electric Ford, for naive people, they cannot tell it's electric. I'm passing by every day when I go to work. I work at Flemington these days. And I don't know who owns the truck, but it's always the same dark blue F-150. And I'm glad that they're on the road here, at least.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think I put my name in for that thing, I don't know, 2 years ago. Ford never gets back to me and says, yeah, it's available. I can go get one. They haven't even talked to me. So I don't know. I got to see what's going on with
Well, I think they have a weird priority list. I've heard that they have it's a Hummer EV. They have a stop order.
I don't want a Hummer. I don't want a Hummer. I don't care if it's electric. It's just no. I don't want a Hummer. It's just not what I want.
Yeah. The reason it's a supply chain is stressed out because those vehicles, they need 2 times or 3 times as much battery capacity for the same range as smaller vehicle. So that's what is. It is composite aggregate stress on the supply chain. So. But I think they prioritize people who already drive electric. So you would have to state in your order, or somehow they have a way how to figuring it out, because those people who I met, They have
Yeah.
Teslas, they have some other electric vehicles. These are not the construction workers who
That
never
sounds
have
very-
driven electric, and
That's
now
not fair. That's not a fair assessment because there's other people out there like me that don't have a Tesla but would like a pickup truck that has electric. So
I agree with you. I'm just saying what I observe. You know, and YouTubers, they get prioritized. Okay.
Of course, I gotta go back to my old YouTube channel that's got my conversions on it. That's back from 2008. That's got grainy
Yeah.
cell phone videos. I'm past that, my friend. I'm past it. I'm old now, and I'm doing the other thing. So I tell you what, you guys got any questions for me? Because I got to run because I'm still at work. I just spent my first day back from vacation, and I got tons of work, so I'm still in my office. So let me go. But if you guys got any questions, I'll stick around. But other than that, I wish you the best with everything. I really do. You guys,
Okay.
just going.
Very good, Doug. Thank you very
Thanks so
much
much,
for
Doug.
your contribution today, and good luck in everything. And if you need our help, let us know. Okay. Tomorrow is leadership meeting.
Very
EVA.
good, guys. Take care.
Okay. Bye. So I'll move on to those relevant updates from National EVA. So the membership drive has been extended to November 30th. Okay, and there are some new perks that I was not aware of like a month ago. I mean, this credit energy, clean energy credit union, I've heard about it before. But the Blue Dot charging discount, that's apparently some sort of new network that is covering all other networks. And you have 30 cents per kilowatt hour flat charge, which could be good for some locations. And it all depends on how quickly your vehicle charges and whether you are in jurisdiction that charges by minute or hour versus by kilowatt hour. So if your vehicle charges very fast, you have like, you know, Hyundai Ioniq 5, and you are in Pennsylvania where they charge by minute, then yes, you can actually get the energy quite cheap, certainly less than 30 cents per kilowatt hour. There is $125 off NeoCharge Smart Splitter. Recurrent Auto, the free battery health report that has been here for a while. It's very useful. It gives you a monthly report about your battery, estimated range, life, and things like that. And obviously, you have the engaging with like-minded EV advocates and some events that are only for members. Also, when we were talking about Aptera just moments ago, Aptera is very much involved with Electric Vehicle Association, and two new members during this membership campaign per chapter will be selected on a random basis to receive free reservation for Aptera. The Aptera reservation has $100 value. In the past, I would be saying, hey, here is my reservation code. If you apply it, you will get $30 off, paying effectively $70 for your reservation. Now, 2 people who will join our chapter from September 1st to November 30th will be selected on random basis to receive this. So this is very exciting. I think this is the best perk, and I hope that Aptera will come live. They are already starting production, and first vehicles may roll out the production line as early as first quarter next year. So, yeah. Now I'm going to talk about a topic that I have been kind of getting ready for a while, because this is about time of use. Time of use, which is actually a way how the utility can communicate to consumers when is the time to use more energy and when is the time not to use as much energy. Because we have load, and at certain time of a day, the load is very high, so the energy is more expensive, and at night it's typically very cheap. So most utilities in New Jersey today, they have flat charge for customers, for residential customers. The businesses, they have completely different different program, and it depends on which business it is. And I'm not that much expert in that, but anyway, this slide shows what is the situation in two utilities here, PSE&G and JCP&L. I did not have enough time to complete for the Atlantic, but I assume that they will also have program like that. In PSE&G, they call it RLM, which means Residential Load Management Service. In JCP&L, they call it RT, which is Residential. Forgot what the abbreviation means, but anyway, it's RT. They have slightly different definition of what means peak and what means off peak. So for PSE&G, during winter, spring, and fall, which is defined by regular time, not the daily savings time, the peak is between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Monday through Friday, and all other times, which means nights and weekends, are off peak. During daylight savings, it's 1 hour forward, so it's between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. The monthly fee, and for JCP&L, it's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's 12 hours, so it's a little bit more. No, yeah, it's actually less. So the monthly fee is also different. So in PSE&G, the monthly fee is for residential service regular is like $5, $4.95. So it's actually $9 extra cost, which brings me to the first point. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of the program to compensate for the extra $9. For JCP&L, it's $7. I don't know how much is the regular fee. Now, as you know, we have distribution charge and we have supply charge. Distribution is what you pay to the utility, okay, to give you the energy. Supply is to what you pay to whoever gives you the energy. If you have basic generation service, then it's the utility. If you have a contract with someone else, then you pay to someone else. If you are part of the energy aggregation program in your town, that this is your contract. And if you have solar system, then you are delivering yourself energy. And what is interesting here, that as you know, when you have solar system, you have net metering, which means that the energy that is produced during the day and you cannot consume is banked in your virtual account under the utility. And then when you need to use it later, you get it back. You don't have to pay for that service. You don't pay distribution charge, you don't pay supply, no, nothing. It's perfect. Once a year, that account zeros. It's called true up and or reconciliation month. And that means that if you have any energy unused during that time, the utility they have to buy it from you. And when they buy it from you, they buy it for very little. It happened to me over my 11 years of ownership of solar system. I think once or twice. The first time I was, I had 3 kilowatt hours left out, so it was interesting. And the second time it was maybe a little bit more. So anyway, when you have time of use, they have to give you a new meter. And the new meter is a smart meter. It's a meter that actually, so PSE&G was fooling me. When I requested time of use, they said, okay, you have to have new meter. I said, fine, install it. After several reminders, they came, they put in meter, and I look into it and I say, okay, the numbers, I'll come during different time and there'll be different numbers. No, that meter actually, if you physically approach it, it still shows the same numbers as conventional meter. I mean, conventional net meter, right? The conventional net meter has scrolling numbers. It has energy in, energy out, and then it has a bunch of some other numbers. I don't know what they mean. So when you have time of use, you essentially, you have two banks, one for peak and one for off peak. So when you sign up for the program, it forces reconciliation. So it happened to me this year in January, and the utility, they fooled me. I'll just cut this short, but after they installed the meter in December, I didn't receive bill for January, February, and March. And by the end of March, I received these 3 bills. And only then I realized that they actually did apply new metering to me, the time of use. And my normal reconciliation month is April. And the meter reading in April is like beginning of April. I had something over a week to actually look into my energy use and trying to eliminate any excessive energy from the account. And I ended up actually not being able to use 198, essentially 200 kilowatt hours of the peak energy. And so that was purchased by the utility. So I had to swallow this. But after that, I'm monitoring the energy quite closely. Also on this slide are some numbers from the JCP&L. But also what I'm highlighting in the red and green is the actual pricing that I'm receiving for the off-peak from my bill. So combined supply and distribution, it's anywhere between 7 cents and 9 cents. I think it's like 8.7 cents is the highest and the lowest is 6.6 cents. So I'm already breaking the price of kilowatt hour into decimal cents. That's how low it is. Okay, so I'm actually on this slide, I was already talking about some of it. The utility was trying to talk me out of it. They were telling me that I would not save anything, that I would be, paying more. And it was not clear which number to call, how to follow up. It appears to me that they just do not understand their program. They have very poor knowledge. And as I mentioned, 3 months I received no bill. The meter reading is available online. I'll show you the web portal. It is clunky, the portal. Can you mention that it shows the meter reading in real time, but it's actually 1 to 2 day delay in the available data. The good thing is that you can actually export the data in CSV format. So this is a screenshot how it looks like. This is the website. You go to mysmartenergy.nj.pseng.com. You click on create an account, and it will ask you for the account number, which is blocked here on this upper left corner. This is where the account number and home address is displayed. And this is just a screenshot. You can change the preview on the top line. What is your usage since a certain time? Since what is it, December 4th, when they put the meter in. So it was 5.5 megawatt hours. How much was it last week? And what is the peak? And peak event, which was 13.73 kilowatts, which is also interesting value. And on the chart, what you can see, the light green is excess solar production, dark blue is the energy demand. And every time you see a large block, that's pretty much when I was charging a car. And the reason why it's not flat, it's because on top of it is heat pump. So as the night progresses, the frequency at which the heat pump is turning on is higher. So that's why it's going upwards. The green line shows temperature. So that's how much data it's actually showing you. So what are the considerations? So if your solar and now when I'm assuming that you have solar, because most of us have solar system, if your solar generation equals consumption on the annual basis, essentially you do nothing because it will not make any sense for you. If your solar generation is less than consumption, and that would happen if you got your solar system before you got your electric car, then your consumption is higher, then time of use will very likely benefit you. Essentially, those $9 that you want to pay extra for, at least for PSE&G, the monthly fee, means that you have to consume about 90 kilowatt hours a month that you can attribute to off-peak. That will pay off. If you have no solar generation, you need to perform load assessment. This is critical, and you can do it in various ways. You pretty much need to understand how much energy do you consume during peak versus off-peak. This table shows some important numbers that you need to consider. So when solar generation for during business day, it actually fits almost entirely into peak, okay? But Saturday, Sunday, it falls into off-peak. So statistically, on average, the solar generation is broken into 5-to-2 ratio. 5 units is peak and 2 units is off-peak. So remember, if your solar system was designed for your consumption, you have to consume 5/7 during the peak and 2 during the off-peak. Because if you don't, you will end up in imbalance and you will have overproduction of the peak and you will be buying off-peak. What falls into peak? It's your daily activity. If you work from home, that's the big thing. Your weekday air conditioning, okay? The off-peak is the weekend activity. It's the EVS, either the charging your car, and heat pump, because heat pump will supplement heat and it's cooler at night, so you are more likely to use heat pump if you have only one source. Of course, if you have hybrid heating, heat pump and natural gas, then it depends on the outdoor temperature and on the balance point, and things get complicated, but that's part of the load assessment that everybody needs to do. So for ideal situation, you want to have the solar system covering your annual peak needs, and the off-peak will not be enough, and you will be buying only off-peak energy, which is very cheap these days. I mean, it's just cheap. And that will be used for EV charging and for a heat pump. So what I have done to do load assessment, I purchased this energy monitor, Emporia. I bought it on Amazon. There are a few options you can buy with 16 sensors. It's cost $165. Right now, excuse me, I'm using actually 8 sensors. Yes, the other sensors, I just didn't open them in the box. This is how it looks like on the Amazon when it's advertised, you know, perfectly arranged. It is Wi-Fi capable, and you can use your app on your phone, and you can see the energy consumption in real time, in 1 minute, in minute increments, hour increments, weekly, day, and it's fantastic, lots of data. But that's how it looks in my case. And that's only 8 sensors. So it looks cluttered. I didn't put a cover yet, but you can see at the bottom, the two big transporters, they are clamps to the main, and the one all the way at the bottom is attached to the solar clip. It's measuring the solar production, and the other 7 sensors are attached to circuit that is for electric vehicle charging, for heat pump, 2R for range and oven, 1 special room, and then I have a furnace and fridge. Okay, and so here is a snapshot of random nearly 7 days, and on this chart, what you can see is, okay, the yellow is the solar production, and as you can see during the peak, it's pretty much exclusively falling Mondays through Friday into peak. Saturday, Sunday, it's off peak. The blue is the EVSE. You can see actually on the y-axis that my EVSE is almost it's less than 4 kilowatts. So my EVSE is actually 16 amps. And let me tell you, this is perfectly enough for 2 cars. Okay, and it is programmed such that it will charge only off peak. The very first at the beginning, that's actually night between Wednesday and Thursday, right? And in the morning, the charging stopped. I got enough charge. So heat pump is red. And you can see that this is second most prevalent load in my household, right? And everything else is much smaller. Maybe the green, which is oven range, and there's spikes, right? When we bake, when we cook. So everything where you see a green, that's the oven range. And then everything else is pretty much very minor. What you can also see that the heat pump, and this is not the coolest month yet, okay? So lots of heating is at night, which is off peak. But as you can see here on Tuesday here, there was some heating happening during the peak. So I'm hoping that as the winter progresses, the heat pump will be used more during the day, during the peak time. And this is very important because right now I have actually still excess of peak energy. I'll show you on the next slide. So this is my energy consumption for the year 2022. And the first 3 months, that's the old utility. No, it's before reconciliation, before the true up. So this column shows solar production in kilowatt hours. This column is energy in to the house during peak. This is energy in during off peak. This is energy out during off peak, during peak, and this is energy out during off peak. This is total energy consumed, and this is how much I paid. And here in these 2 columns is the bank. So if it's positive, it means that I have produced more peak, and it's all cumulative. And right now I have 1,092 kilowatt hours. Negative means that I was purchasing that amount of energy, right? So the peak is always positive. I never had to purchase a single kilowatt hour during peak, which is very important. And off peak is always negative. I purchased 3,164 kilowatt hours and at very, very low cost. So I'm hoping that by next April true up, that this energy will be all consumed. And the good thing is that I can control it. I can change the time when I charge the car. I can control heat pump. The good thing is that the cost during the off-peak is on average 6.8 cents. I'm not kidding. I was saying between 6 and 8 or 9, but on average, that's how it is. And remember at the beginning of April when it was a true up and I had to sell the energy, they gave me 5.2 cents per kilowatt hour because it was peak energy. And that is valued a little bit more than the previous regular service. You can imagine that if I have excess off peak, I would be probably getting next to nothing. So you can say that actually the difference between what I pay for off-peak versus reimbursement for unused peak is not so big. So even if I have some energy unused, it would not be such a terrible loss. And lastly, this number shows that I have the unused energy is 51% of what was generated during the peak time. So this is during the 6 months. So this is a lot. And this is something I have to be very careful, make sure that I'm using it. So additional points. I'm using more heat pump than any time before because I'm changing the balance point between using heat pump and natural gas. So before the balance point was around 50 Fahrenheit, maybe 45. Now it's 30. So these days are warm, but a few days ago it was much cooler and the natural gas furnace didn't kick in at all. We were still using a heat pump. We are saving energy and we are saving money. But not only that, we are also lowering our carbon footprint, right? Because the gas energy, it has about 95% efficiency, okay? But the heat pump has 300%, give or take, right? From 1 unit of energy spent on a heat pump, you get 3 units of heat pumped from outside to inside. And this is the PJM energy mix at random time. It's pretty much a lot of natural gas, lots of nuclear. There's some wind, and yes, there is still some coal. But you know, overall, our energy mix is quite carbon lean. So having heating from heat pump is lower carbon. And as we progress in decarbonization in New Jersey, as we have more offshore wind, when we have offshore wind, then there will be even more carbon-free energy, and the carbon footprint of heat pump will be even lower. So that would be very, very wonderful. And I also think that I'm helping utility to stabilize the grid because, again, by listening to the pricing that the utility is giving me, I'm planning my energy use during the time when the load on the grid is relatively low. So I think that this is really a win-win situation. So what is the verdict? Well, I need to wait. I need to wait until the end of the heating season, which will be the heating season for me means still May. But the reconciliation is beginning of April. But I think that the time of use is the winner. The key is really having the ability to control the load. So what I recommend, you need to call your utility today and get your smart meter. They'll give it to you for free. They will only change the monthly fee if you decide to go time of use. And as for PSE&G, they are asking to stay for the time of use for at least a year. And quite frankly, you don't want to try it for anything less than that, because it really is important to have full year to evaluate the program. You need to perform energy load assessment. Part of it is to leverage the advanced meter, but you can also purchase any load management device, load measuring device. You can also buy those simple things that you plug it into a power outlet and measure all the devices. But as you could see in my case, most of my load was from devices that are two-phase devices, 240 volts, particularly electric vehicle charging. That's number one load in my home. And the second one is heat pump. For those of you who do not have heat pump, probably the third one would be if you have electric range oven. The fridge by itself is probably the next one. If you have two refrigerators, obviously that's more. But things like computers, TV, lighting, right? So I assume that today nobody has incandescent light bulbs. Those would be a big deal as for energy. But other than that, I can hardly name any device that would consume lots of energy. Maybe if you have electric dryer, yes, that would also use lots of energy, but that is not used all the time, right? Washer, if you have energy efficient washer, my energy efficient washer, it doesn't, pop up from the bottom how little it on the energy scale. That's how little it uses. So yeah, get a heat pump. Get a heat pump and call a utility when you have no energy credit to set up time of use service. That's important because when you have energy credit, they will reimburse it to you. So I think this is it. And if you have any questions, and I have other things on the agenda, but for this specific presentation, do you have any questions?
That's a great presentation, Stan. Really,
Thank you.
Really like to hear that because I want to do some of these things very soon. Did you get a heat pump, a rebate from your heat when you had the heat pump purchased?
Yes. And it's odd. I got a heat pump when we upgraded our HVAC in 2011. I was essentially upgrading air conditioning unit to heat pump. So most of the time it was used as a air conditioning. And I was kind of split on how much to use the heat pump for heating, because it was like, do I want to use energy for the heat pump or for my car? I was always benchmarking to how much solar generation I have, but that now is off because with 2 electric vehicles, I am definitely using much more energy. And also I should say, when I was working at Colgate-Palmolive, I was charging both electric vehicles for free, right? So my energy load, the balance of how much the solar system makes and how much I use was completely different, right? But now I have to charge it at home. So that's why I'm now paying for it and I have to account, and it really makes so much sense.
Great. Yeah, I'm going to check out the website and download my my use as soon as we get off the phone.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm also considering this, Stan. So thanks. This is very helpful information. Although that I was disappointed to see that $14 a month fee with PSE&G. That definitely takes the bite out of it. But
I made the calculation, and those $9 extra, you have to look into it not as a 14, but 9 extra, right? Because today today you pay $5 or $4.95, so it's $9 extra. And if you consider the difference between what you pay today for the extra energy, which is about 17 cents, okay, supply and delivery, and after having the off-peak, which is about 7 cents. So the difference is 10 cents. You are saving 10 cents per every kilowatt hour. So you need 90 kilowatt hour a day, a month to purchase. And that's not too much.
Yeah, and I'm looking again at my use, and I'm seeing over 30% is car charging. That can all be at night, like something for, well, it depends on the month, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for this 40% in the past month. This
And how
car
much
charge
is
went
your
back
heat
down.
pump? I know that you have a heat pump.
Yeah, and that's actually right now it's only 12% because I think that it's not that cold out yet, but that'll go up as well.
Do you have data monitoring for your heat pump going backwards to winter?
Yeah, absolutely. I installed actually the same thing you have, the Emporia system. I think we've
Okay.
had it for almost a year now, if not, maybe over a year now.
So you should be able to actually to tell now. Just look into the data.
Yeah, I got it mid 2021.
Stan, that was well done.
Thank you.
It was good food for thought. I actually can't do solar. I have too much tree cover, but I'm moving to Colorado in 2024, and we're going to be able to do solar there. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into these issues. It was a good primer.
Yeah.
Do you know if Colorado doesn't have as generous a rebates as we have in Jersey? Do they?
They have pretty good ones. It's actually,
Okay.
I'm going to be in Boulder County, which actually has some of its own.
Okay.
It's a very kind of progressive green sort of area. But I actually haven't looked I'll be getting into that a little bit further down the road as I get closer to moving there.
Colorado has actually pretty aggressive support for EVs.
Yeah, they do that. They have, yeah,
and a lot of sunshine.
a lot of
They do.
sunshine, and
way more than wind.
Unlike where I am, more sunshine. Where I'm going to be is 300 days of sunshine a year on average, so quite a bit. And then again, I'm here in Westfield. It was the first thing when we bought the house here. Can we do solar? We were told no, there's too much tree cover. But out there won't have that issue. So looking forward to that. And we're already starting to plan it as we plan our renovation out there.
Lots of people have this problem with tree coverage. Essentially, the reason why I don't have larger system is because section of my roof is shaded during winter time by trees from my neighbor. Okay, so, and I'm not gonna ask him to chop it down. So, yeah.
In the county I'm in, you actually have to put in a certain amount of solar if you're doing a renovation of any size.
Wow.
It's mandated.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Where is that?
They're very aggressive out there.
I see.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Again, it depends on what part of Colorado you're in. But you have to do for certain kinds of construction in certain counties, a certain amount of renewable. You got it percentage wise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's true in California too.
Yeah. And there's another state as well. I've just started to do some reading on it. So you get
California has a different generation curve now because they have so much solar that they have excess energy during the day. So that translates into completely different time of use program.
Boulder's also getting rid of natural gas by 2030. No natural gas. Berkeley, I think Berkeley, California was the first town to do it. Boulder by 2030, and there's several others kind of in that line.
And I tell you where the gas goes these days. They liquefy it, they ship it to Europe.
And they need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good thing, I think.
Trying to get them through the winter and get off Russian oil a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have a heat pump, and I've got kind of a unique system. It's a air to water system, and with radiant heating, and I was just looking at my history here, and I actually use twice as much in air conditioning as I used in the heat pump. But it's a dual system, so when this temperature gets really cold, it'll fall back onto natural gas as well. So
that's really interesting, Alex, because I was looking into the same thing. So your heat pump actually heats up water, which circulates in radiators in your house?
Yeah. So I've
Wow.
renovated my entire house myself, room by room, and the system was very flexible and it let me do that, because I could just, as I was renovating each room, I'd put in radiant walls or radiant floors and just hook them into the system or add new air handlers, right? Because I didn't have any
Got it.
ductwork in my house. So
And this style of heat pump is actually what they use in Europe
yes.
because they have radiators as well.
Mhm. And now you want to have low temperature radiators, ideally,
Yeah.
I still have a couple of higher temp radiators in my
Mhm.
house. I'm still trying to get rid of. And
Well, you need to increase the area of the
Right.
exchange. So you put 3 high temperature radiators, and it will do. So I don't know how
well,
it
but
looks like.
the idea though is you want to heat the water at
Yes,
as low temperature as possible.
yes,
So the
yes,
temperature
yes. So
rises as slow as
if you
possible.
have 3 high temperature radiators, you are actually increasing the area so that you can route lower temperatures through them and get the same effect.
Right.
That's what I meant.
Okay. And the rebates on those air waters are huge. If you look at the New Jersey, at least they were when I put it in. I mean, it was like half the cost of the unit.
Well,
Wow.
when I purchased my AC, the heat pump in 2011, I got $500 rebate. Okay, $500 for the heat pump. I think $500 for the high efficiency furnace, something like that.
You should have gotten more than that because I put in a high efficiency AC and I got $1,500 off of that around the same time,
Mhm.
maybe 2012. I was really surprised how much I got in the rebate just for the air conditioner.
Yeah, they condition the rebate to have minimum efficiency rating. And I remember the number 16.5, and I think it's a SEER rating, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It's a SEER rating. Yeah, it was incredible how much our electricity bills went down in the summer after we got the new air conditioner. It was just astounding, like less than half.
Wow.
The previous air conditioner was probably put in 1980. It was ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's without adding insulation too?
No, absolutely not. No
Oh, wow.
insulation.
Yeah.
No. That was just the new,
good.
just the new air conditioner. They're just so much more efficient.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And insulation is another thing, but we are not as cold state as some other states. So anyway, what time do we have?
Guys, I actually have to run. I have to jump on the call at 8:15.
Okay, very good.
Yes,
Thank you, Robert. I have few items and then we'll be all done.
okay. Good to meet you all, guys. Thanks, Stan, for inviting me.
Have a good night, Robert.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so future activities and initiatives. We have this NJEVA planner file. I'm not going to open it now because essentially all that we have are those 2 postponed events. But we have a virtual event tomorrow in collaboration with with RVCC, Raritan Valley Community College and RideWise. The presentation is called Our Electric Future and Training the Next Generation. The keynote speaker is Mark Quarta. He is retired employee from General Motors. He was involved with the development of many hybrid and plug-in hybrid vehicles. He was involved with EV1 apparently, and with Chevy Volt. So this should be exciting. Tomorrow it's during the day, so you would have to find a time break from your work between 1:30 and 2:30. That's what it is. Next chapter meeting, I pushed it kind of early. I recall that some of us have some plans for third Wednesday every month, and Thursdays are also not good. So I thought to do second Wednesday in a month, and that's what happens to be the November 9th. So in a couple of weeks, and I have already secured Mark Warner from Gable Associates. You may recall he was presenting about 2 years ago in the middle of pandemic. I think it was like in May or June 2020. So he will give us an update on what's going on in New Jersey and electric vehicles. I guess he's going to talk more about the success, because at least 2021 was a pretty good year as for electric vehicle adoption in New Jersey. So that's what will be going on. Yeah, so this is the flyer for tomorrow. Mark Quarto. And Sarah Heller, she's the instructor and coordinator for automotive technology in Raritan Valley Community College. So you can scan the coupon, the QR code, or if you're interested. So I think this is it.
I think second Wednesday of the month, we have our regular environmental commission meeting.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking that, so that might be an issue for me. But I've already scheduled